and welcome to the Unreal Press Podcast, the revival edition. You thought it would never happen, but it did. I am your host, Rhyme Henry Davis, also known as Rhymes. I am here with Daniel Gabalowski, author of the coming collection of plays titled Carbon Pages. This has been in the works for over a year, probably 2 years at this point. I've been fortunate enough to sort of watch this come together, watch each of these plays in this collection be sort of painfully constructed over all of these years. And I'm happy to also be at least partially responsible for bounding these works in a single book that is, by the time this episode releases, available for purchase on all platforms. Daniel.
Yes, sir. Hello. Thank you for having me. Long time listener, first time caller. It's been a long time since the last episode of the Unreal podcast aired. I was on here once with like 4 or 6 or 10 other guys talking about the Islamabad Bazaar.
Yeah, you were one of the 5 people with very strong accents on that podcast episode. I think you got like 3 or 4 lines in. You were very timid. You didn't say much. This is an opportunity for you to sort of make up for that last impression.
Okay, great. Thank you for the no pressure.
Yeah, no pressure.
Before we begin, I have a tradition where each podcast that I go on, I compose a little poem for the hosts. And even though the show I'm on right now belongs to my publisher, I nonetheless have a poem to share. And I'm certain that if the listener wishes to read along to the poem as I recite it, he can scroll down to where the text is pinned in either the description or the pinned comment. You come from 4chan's darkest break. They fell off harder than the BSR of one James Craig. Their own birth spawn lit called a defect. Unreal has no time for dogs. Guess that's why they're always chasing tails. From Ogden to Rhyme and LA to New York. From northernmost China to Australia, they glaze your work. At the Rolling Stone launch parties, the same whisper snakes about. When is Crash Test coming out? Unrealies are winners. Uploads? We don't do that here. Their podcast is so old, Dan Baltic still had hair. They have the fat stack. One article is plenty. Should we do some work? Maybe next year. Your anthologies are fairest by far. Only $30 a page. It's cheaper than a car. I took out a mortgage and sold my third born. It still didn't cover the Islamabad Bazaar. But I digress. All this tangent, this whole poem's not the best. Let's return to juicy questions. When do pre-orders open for Crash Test? When will the postman be McKnockton on my door? Quoth the raven, nevermore.
You say you're a first-time caller. You're clearly not. You've been on the show before, but also if the people listening are familiar with our output, being that either through the Substack or through the YouTube channel, they're also familiar with your writing. I mean, on the Substack alone, you've got 2 pieces up. The first of which is the collapse of HMS Mariana, what is broadly considered the crowning work of the first volume of Tales of the Unreal. You got a lot of praise for it. It clearly went to your head. However, that was a work of fiction, epistolary, but a work of fiction all the same. Why have you transitioned to plays now? What happened?
That's a very good question, Rhyme. Why have I transitioned to plays? I think even if you read HMS Mariana, it's like very dialogue heavy. I think the best parts, as far as I'm concerned, is kind of the interactions between the different characters and crewmates. I don't know, the transition to theater is kind of not okay. Hold on, pause for a second. I'm sorry, you gotta edit this out. I can't fucking talk with these headphones on because I can't hear what I'm saying. How do people do this? I'm just gonna take them off.
All right.
how the fuck does like Joe Rogan and all his people fucking just do this with headphones on? It's like I'm underwater in a bathtub. What the fuck? Okay, what was the question? Why did I transition to plays? Yeah, I just like dialogue and I'm good at dialogue. Like, yeah. Next question.
I mean, sure, but also first, the presence of the narrator in this podcast episode is not supposed to be very crunchy, not supposed to be very literate. Let's get this out of the way. I'm interested in your transition to scripts and screenplays because I'm seeing that sort of often. I feel like obviously fiction, there's a lot of talk and discourse about how gauche and how washed up fiction is, literary fiction, any kind of fiction really. And to see someone make the jump to scripts and not look back, just kind of, I don't know, I'm curious. I want to know like what about writing this kind of stuff is it more freeing?
Yeah, it is. I guess because I don't like writing the narration parts anywhere. I'll write a short story if there's a good reason to write the short story. Like, I published this story in Minimag that was like about this killer who like takes sanctuary in a monastery. And that needed to be a short story because the narrator in and of himself was this character, this kind of falsifiable, what do you call it, character? This unreliable narrator
Right.
that you can't translate into a script because the script is very kind of objective. You're kind of seeing this from a god's point of view. Kind of everything that happens is destined to happen. Although one of the plays, the Russian play that's in the middle of this collection is like it also is not really objective. 'Cause the narrator, there is a narrator and he's like a character in and of himself.
That's what I was gonna say in response to your comment. Having read this book now 3 times, the narrator in the final play, which is No Weapon Formed Against You, is I mean, he is a narrator. Wherever stage directions or whatever would go in an actual play, seem to be replaced by this extremely characterized narrator. So saying that you're tired of a narrator feels, all due respect, feels like a lie. So
Yeah,
what's
I'm a
the real
liar.
reason? You
I,
are.
I I'm being disingenuous right now. This is disingenuous. Um, Gee, I don't know, but but No Weapon Formed Against You, that Russian play is like the last kind of play in this evolution. I mean, the first real script that I wrote was Fathers and Sons Redux 23, which is like a remake of the Ivan Turgenev novel. It's like a classic Russian literary tome, like one of those C tier tomes. And that was just like a very kind of classic script, like contemporary, 4 people in a room sitting talking at a table. And then Boring and Broke, which is the first play in this collection, or is the last one in the book, but it's the first one that I wrote chronologically in like 2022. That started out as a television pilot that I that I wrote for like a sitcom. I don't know if you know this, but it was like a 30-minute. It was a 30 pager in like Scream script formatting. Now it's like a 70 pager. So I doubled it. The subplot with Arturo, which is if I mean you have the listener has not read this yet, I assume. So like just for clarification, it's this kid who is loosely based on a person I know who he's a Venezuelan and he tries to publish a book via a pawn shop. And the girl that likes him that owns the pawn shop tries to turn the place into a publishing house. But so that entire thread wasn't in the script originally. And that was kind of added later on. So so originally it was just like some guys wandering Buenos Aires, kind of philosophizing and smoking and drinking. But so that works as a television pilot. I don't think it even works as a stage production now. I think the only play in Carbon Pages that really is obviously adaptable to the stage is Cognito Hazard, which is like 4 people in a room, you know?
Mm. And I want to stop you there. We've got for the folks at home who are sadly ignorant of the contents of Carbon Pages, we've got a snippet here from Boring and Broke.
How do you think you would beat Ilya Abturo, Top Toro? Bum, 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 bum. I grab him with the scruff of the chest and bum, 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 bum. Slap that little nose off him, yeah? Little ding dong of a thing he is. Bum, 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 bum.
That was astonishing. That was a fucking excellent, excellent oops, you have to bleep that. You have to bleep that. Whoops.
Bleep?
Uh,
How the fuck?
uh,
I can't bleep all the swear. I don't know what the fuck you think this is.
don't we get monetized? Jeez.
All right. So the folks at home may recognize an Irish Bruges when you speak, but you're Russian, right? You identify as Russian?
Yeah, yeah, I'm ethnically a Russian, like, yeah. Yeah, I mean, uh, so it's complicated. So, I was born in Ireland, but my parents are ethnically Russian, but they're from Latvia, but, like, the eastern part of Latvia, which is, like a cultural enclave, of Russians, basically. Famously from the, what is it? The world's most miserable prison town or whatever Bald and Bankrupt called it.
Yeah, we're gonna link that video in our video. It's if you want to see exactly what conditions he wrote uh no weapon formed against you in, watch that video. It's very illuminating. I asked that question because weapon formed against you is an incredibly Russian. I say this as an American. So what I think is Russian follows a certain kind of cartoon stereotype. But No Weapon Formed Against You is an incredibly Russian play. However, Cognito Hazard, despite taking place in Italy in the 1950s, is written in what seems like a recreation of kind of an Irish slang. There's this mixed identity thing going on, a bit almost schizophrenic. Uh,
Thank you.
I want to ask you. I mean, you were born there. You sound like an Irish person. The slang you use is Irish, but right now you're in the motherland. You're at home. You're near family. Do you feel more Irish or do you feel more Russian?
Um, yeah, I definitely feel more Irish now. You always feel closer to that where you are not. Um, but I mean, a lot of the dialogue in Cognito Hazard comes from like girls that I worked with, like at a corner shop, like at a petrol station in Latvia or in Ireland. Um, but also a lot of that is like actually inspired by like Martin McDonagh and well, not Martin McDonagh. I actually really dislike Martin McDonagh, but J.M. Singe, who inspired Martin McDonagh, and his dialogue, it comes from um the people of the Connemara area of Western Ireland, and the Gaeltacht and Galway, and these places where people have very heavy accents, and where the Irish language, which is mostly extinct now, it still kind of revives a little. But so you have some of these pretty idiosyncratic expressions or dialects. Not that I'm as good as James Singe at that, but because I'm not I don't actually have a
Don't
good ear. I don't actually have a good
don't
ear for Irish, idiosyncrasies, but anyway.
yeah. Don't self-deprecate. Nobody believes it. So give me a good soundbite. Martin McDonagh, the guy you said you hate, who's a terrible hack and has no talent. What exactly don't you like about him? It's always interesting to know what artists feel about other artists, and this way we can kind of discover their tastes and know what to expect from their writing.
I don't know, man, he's just very banal. I mean, he's very trite. I would never put on a film of his. I would never go to a stage production of his, even though they do his productions all over the world now in Daugavpils and fucking Eastern Latvia. It's as if he's fucking taunting me from the grave. even though he's not dead. I think he's like 45. He's like a Gen Xer. It's really annoying. And he's also not even Irish. He pretends to be Irish, but he's like this fucking bourgeois Londoner cunt. Um,
Do you have you like gone to a local production of one of his pieces?
no, I haven't. No,
Okay.
and I won't.
Oh.
Look, look. Can we hold on? Can we just? I just want to interrupt you for a second. This is all like really fun, but for the listeners, I just want you to go and buy Carbon Pages, okay? Like, Rhyme's a good interviewer, like, these are good questions, but, like, at the end of the day, I'm not here, like, for fun or, like, out of the good of will of my heart. Like, I don't care. I just want you to buy Carbon Pages, okay? So go, like, don't even finish what I know I haven't convinced you or anything, but, like, I need the money. I need the money, and I need just scroll down into the description and click the link and, like, add it like, you've bought things on Amazon before, like, add it into your cart, and, yeah, so, anyway, what's your next question?
In the future, I'll make sure every guest that swings around a little tin cup and begs for money on my show. That's just how they did it on Charlie Rose. Now, I know you as a kind of money hungry, money grubbing dude. You've worked a lot of odd jobs in your life, haven't you?
Yeah, yeah, I have. Yeah. What do you want to know specifically about the odd jobs that I've
Well, you've dug graves in Germany. I don't want to know about that. If you want to know about that, you can read his writing on Republic of Letters. You can I forget what the thing's called. I'm not gonna pimp Republic of Letters on this show. I don't
You
respect.
can
I don't.
scroll down to the description where next to the link to my new collection of plays Carbon Pages, which you can buy on Amazon by clicking on the Buy Now button. You can find a link next to that to my article on my work in Germany on the biggest mass grave in the history of Europe. It's called Some Recollections of a Grave Robber.
I promise you that link is gonna lead to a goatee. Sorry. Um, what about your other work? You were a chef in Paris for a time.
Yeah, you keep saying that. It wasn't Paris, it was the Alps in southern
Fuck is
France.
that?
The Alps? You fucking retarded?
I'm I'm a, I'm an American man. I don't. You gotta break this shit down for me.
Okay, the Alps is a the Alps is a mountain range in southern France, you fucking gimp. And yeah, I worked there as a sous chef for a while, and then I quit because I cut off my finger.
Yeah. You're the second sous chef that I've known to cut off a finger. I don't know if it's just something about unreal people that they're too stupid to be trusted with
Well,
our
I
implements.
yes, that as well, but I did it deliberately in order to fake psychosis in order to get out of working.
Oh, okay. So you really can't tolerate making an honest living.
I fucking this book I cranked out in around 2 days, and I made it look like I wrote it in 3 years. Um, but anyway, please
This is
buy this
this is
book, okay?
this is exclusive information because in every other piece of media he's gonna tell people that he worked really hard on all of this stuff, which is, as we know now, is a lie.
You have other questions?
In Boring and Broke in Buenos Aires, you write about digital nomads, the kind of scum, kind of parasites of the world. Have you actually worked a remote job, or you just kind of voyeuring?
No, I've actually never worked a day in my life. Um, um, but no, I when I wrote that, I was really kind of daydreaming in the sense that I was really fantasizing about the stuff that I would like to do, and the stuff that I would like to be. So a lot of Boring and Broke is like, what's the opposite of like being unemployed in uh, like in rural Ireland, and where would I rather be? And originally, I think it was gonna be set in Medellin in Colombia. No, I was considering Bogota. which is the capital of Colombia. And then I settled on Buenos Aires. I was actually like sending out my CV to just about every newspaper in Colombia and Argentina and like South America, Spain, Italy around this time. Just because I really wanted to work at a newspaper. Some of them were English language though. I don't speak Spanish by the way. I mean, I do speak a little bit now, but you know.
Oh, I think you hit like a strong accent on Bogota, so I was thinking you're trying to like impress the audience and trick them into thinking you're like multilingual or something. So you're not.
No, I'm learning a bit of Spanish now, Ryan. Thank you for the
Oh, okay.
yeah. Can I ask you a question? Can I, turn the
That's fine.
tables a little bit on you? Why has it been so long since the last Unreal Press episode? I mean, what is that about? Is that kind of like just because you're insecure or like talk to me about that?
Well, actually, it's because I'm kind of like an incredibly strong personality. It's kind of an unforgettable person. So what happened was we used to have like 4 or 5 hosts, and 4 of them no longer talk to me, and so nobody could do this show anymore. But now, because I'm a publisher on your book, and I'm also hurting severely for cash, I am doing my best to promote the remarkable piece of art you've made even though you undercut me at every turn. Speaking of undercutting me, in Boring and Broke in Buenos Aires, I am depicted, rather unflatteringly. You've made kind of a name for yourself by pissing off every single person we know. Is there a reason for that?
I mean, I don't go out of my way to piss people off. I think I'm very like kind and amiable actually. Um, but I guess if I had to say one thing to your point is that I really dislike mediocrity.
Mm.
And so whenever I encounter an author or a painter or whoever that's that's mediocre, it just annoys me. Okay, it just kind of irritates me, and maybe that sometimes comes out in unsavory ways.
Interesting. Do you therefore find it hard to live with yourself?
You know what I was thinking about recently? Do you remember L.A. Labouchene? Maybe the listeners
I
remember.
Yeah.
I was thinking about his book Shaman Marching Dusk, which you can also which you can buy when you scroll down to the description and click the link to buy Shaman Marching Dusk. But I was thinking about was that the first ever book to have an AI generated cover?
The first
Like
book in
literally.
history?
Yeah, because
It
that
was
was like
one
what
though.
2021 and it was back when AI art was this abstract thing. And to even think of using it on a book cover was like this avant-garde funny idea.
No, it was. And the thing is, AI image generation was so rudimentary back then. What we did was we generated an incredibly low res abstract image, and then we used an AI upscaler so it could actually be stretched over the length of a book cover. And then I think a friend of ours, Brent, shouldn't use his real name, made some kind of Photoshop bullshit. Anyway, the cover, all due respect, looks like it looks great, looks tremendous. I love how it came out. I'm sure LA does as well. Um,
Yeah, but LA is also kind of well, one of the characters in Boring and Broke is kind of inspired by Leroy. I don't know if that can I say Leroy? Yeah, of course I can. He's a fucking cult leader or something. Yeah, I mean he knows this. He was probably one of the first people to read the play actually. I sent it to him. Um, but it's just this guy, huh?
was he flattered by your depiction?
Yeah, he was, or so he says. I mean, that character tapped into something because he's also kind of inspired by Hunter Thompson and Hemingway a little, who's obviously there are big influences on Leroy and his kind of self-image. I assume. I mean,
Mm.
I don't think he would disagree with that. But they're kind of like these adventure hunters, like explorers of the dark recesses of nightlife and drugs, and these people get into knife fights, in fucking South Africa or whatever.
Now, off mic, off camera, you've expressed doubts on the veracity of LA's personal history. Do you want to address that?
You know, I used to think that he's probably fudging the numbers a bit, but the older I get, the more I think that that's just him. And like, the more you kind of believe that you are something, the more it kind of manifests itself.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's a non-answer. Thanks. I just think it's really interesting reading Boring and Broken, recognizing some of the characters that you kind of lift real details from real people's lives and then kind of use it to insult them in a work of fiction.
Yeah, okay, we
I
kind
re-
of like glossed over this that you thought one of the characters is based on you. Um, well, tell me what you think about that, and then I'll tell you what I think about what you think about that.
well, I'll just say that in Daguapolis or wherever you live, and in Ireland, I know for a fact that there are no black people at all, and so I think that because I don't really trust the power of your imagination. You definitely had to pull that from real life material, and that's probably me you're pulling it from. And now I've never expressed this to you, so I guess on the show would be a weird time to do so. But I was really offended by your betrayal of me.
You know, that's one of the characters that's not really based on anyone at all. Um, I didn't even know that you're black, but my idea was like, what I first of all, I really like Woody Allen films. I've seen every Woody Allen film at least 3 times. I really like Metropolitan, which is this kind of, also very white, upper class bougie kind of film about these kinds of waspish characters, just, like, talking and, like, being witty and sardonic. I like these types of movies, and Boring and Broke is kinda like that, um, but what was my point? Oh yeah, the idea was that, like, what if the Woody Allen character, that archetype, was, like, a big black guy?
Mm.
I just thought that would be funny, like, this really, hypochondriac, nebbish guy, but he's, like, this 6-foot, like, security guard. So you
Mm.
saw yourself
Fact.
in that, I mean, that's not you know,
Yeah.
I don't know why it would.
Well, I'll say I saw pieces of myself. Mostly, I thought the character was kind of hysterical and unbelievable, but I didn't want to say that. I think it's kind of wrong that you're trying to gaslight me right now, but it's not really
I'm not
surprising.
gaslighting you, this is true, this was the impetus for the character.
Right. I'm just
I
saying,
don't
like,
care if your own insecurity, like, makes you see things that are not there.
right. I'm saying the best predictor of the future is the past, and in the past, you've kind of engaged in this kind of slanderous and rude behavior. Like friend of the show, Cairo Smith, a great, reliable, trustworthy friend of mine. You wrote a few articles calling him. He's also quadriplegic, by the way. You wrote a few articles calling him kind of like a piece of shit who can't write. Um,
So how
yeah.
much are we selling carbon pages for?
We?
Yeah, you're not getting any money out of this, right?
Yeah. So inform me. How much are you selling
I think
carbon
it's like
pages for?
24 or 25. Yeah, okay. So tell me how many subscribers are subscribed to the Unreal Press YouTube channel.
484.
Okay, so I mean, I'm not so bold as to assume that 484 people will buy carbon pages, but like I think at least one third of that, I think it's a good bet that at least one third of you will click that link and buy this book because it's not like this isn't some fucking like boring ass fucking I don't know what book like there's hundreds of these awful books, these self-published books that are just not worth your time. Fucking just these 2-bit shitty books. paperbacks. This is a really good book. This is like a hardcover. It has a dust jacket. It has 9 illustrations. Have you ever seen a self-published alt-lit book with 9 illustrations? I'm not talking about the Tales of the Unreal stuff either. I mean full page illustrations by an award-winning artist. Okay, anyway, what was your question?
Do you think you've made a good enough impression on our listeners that 1/3 of them will buy your book?
I don't know. I didn't take any notes. I mean, what can I say? I mean, that's what I'm here for, to promote the book. So
Right.
but do
So
you have
I
any
asked you
questions, or are you just
if
gonna fucking
I'm like asking like if because I asked you if you felt guilty about slandering a guy who didn't ask for it, and you responded by slandering like 2 other people, including Guy Hayes, the artist for Tales of the Unreal Volume 1, and me, of course. So I think I've got the answer to that question. I don't know if you want to revise, you want to make a better case for yourself, but
Right, but you say this as if I, like, even remember what I said about Cairo Smith. I mean, I know obviously who Cairo Smith is. I know that he runs the publication that published one of my articles, but I don't like, I don't know, I piss someone off sometimes, I mean, I don't remember what I said specifically.
is the point of Carbon Pages to shock people and piss them off?
No, it's not. It's not meant to piss anyone off. It's just, it would be a bit strange if it pissed someone off because 2 of them are comedies, and the 3rd play is, I mean, it's a period piece, okay, set kind of before and after the collapse of the Soviet Union, and, it follows 3 real people, who are real people that existed. 2 of them are dead now. The 3rd one is, Alexander Dugin, you might know as the founder of Eurasianism and the so-called, brain of the Kremlin, you know, but, um but I don't think this is, I don't think this will piss him off, unless, is that what you're saying? That this will piss him off?
Well, I'm not necessarily saying that it'll piss Duggan off because I mean you don't want that to happen for certain. Um, I will say I was a little pissed off when I got to the end and there was a giant racial slur for like no reason at the very end of the book. But
Yeah, but
really,
that's there for a reason though, that really happened.
right.
And I can't spoil it because it's like a big plot point to do with, like, an African and a sand pit and
mm,
a thing happens.
fuck you. Do you think Alexander Duggan is gonna read this? Like, you think we could convince him to read this?
I mean, Arctos, or whatever you fucking call it, Arctos, that they follow, Unreal Press, I think.
They do.
They might follow me as well, I don't know. But, I don't know if he runs that or if that's, like, a fan thing, but, I mean, it would be interesting, because nothing in that I was about to say nothing in that play is false. That's not really there's a few scenes that he probably would not approve of. I'll just put it that way.
Mm. You'll have to read it to find out.
Yeah.
So, Cognito Hazard, that is a play that follows a cast of prostitutes, ladies of the night. Um, why did you choose those characters to lead that play?
Um, I don't know, I think the other 2 plays are so masculine. Cognito Hazard really balances things out. Just those characters, I mean, it's just such a totally feminine play. You call them ladies of the night. I think the euphemism is sex workers. But yeah, these, whores are, no, I'm kidding. But, these characters are pretty, I don't know, I just enjoy writing that kinda stuff.
I could tell. Is I'll just say for the audience, Cognito Hazard seems to have an SCP at its center. You're probably familiar with what that is if you were listening to this podcast. Um, I teach fiction class, and my students, the very young ones, love incorporating SCPs. It's kind of like baby's first horror concept. Are you like kind of, I don't know, kind of embarrassed for using like SCPs?
Absolutely not, Ryan. Thank you for asking this. That's an excellent question. Let's talk about that, folks. SCP is a wonderful new genre of fiction, which I have a deep respect and love for. One of my favorite short horror stories, my favorite short stories, period, is an SCP. It's the Sopranos one. It's the one where about a haunted DVD case of The Sopranos season 5 that allows the user to, via a remote control, enter into the show and then enter into, angles and scenes that were not readily visible in the show and see what was happening behind the scenes, and even enter televisions within the show and televisions within the televisions. It's a wonderful, excellent, spooky story. Um, I I think, I mean, there's nothing really about SCP that is awfully new. I mean, it's a lot like horror of, the horror of Stephen King. I mean, The Langoliers is kind of like an SCP. So, yeah, I love that. But even more than SCP, one of the inspirations for Cognito Hazard was Grand Guignol Theater, which is turn of the century um, horror lewd theater, basically the like Netflix cheapo garbage um, of the 1910s. Uh, As I just really love that stuff. Not that I've seen it live, obviously, but I just love the kind of idea of it, incorporating, like, blood and real, like, thrills and scares and, like, sex and comedy and these things into live theater. Because live theater now is so pretentious and boring, and it's really awful. I mean, not that theater, um, shouldn't be smart, clever, but most of the time it's not. It's just boring and banal and not fun and not very clever either.
Here's an excerpt from Cognito Hazard.
And now, in a desperate attempt to fill 24 hours of programming, here's some bullshit that happened somewhere today.
Beep. Okay. What else have I got to ask? Let's see. 40 minutes. 40 minutes is a good time. It's a good time.
Yeah, I'm happy with it if you're happy.
Doug Wobblis. How's that?
Oh, come on, don't ask me about Dauergefills.
Okay. So last July, you attempted to throw a kind of party for the Unreal Press, the Unreal Black Party. Why did you do that?
Oh, nobody wants to hear about that either.
Shut the fuck up. Why'd you do that?
Yeah, but that's everybody who knows about that knows about that. What else is there to say? It was a party, okay? It was a party that it was meant to be the biggest kind of summer party in Latvia, and like there was a bit of a hiccup with like the invites or like the air code or like see, I don't even know what you call it. Like, what do you call the air code in America? Like the house number. Like anyway, a lot of people couldn't find their way, or like there was a confusion about the date as well.
Mm.
So, but it
Anybody
doesn't.
find their way?
Yeah, well, yeah, no,
Mm.
but but I kind of canceled it before that anyway, so it didn't really happen. Like that's the thing, it didn't really happen.
Okay, I understand. Um, well, thank you for coming on the show. I guess as a final question, where do you get your ideas?
Good night, everyone. Thanks for coming on to the Unreal podcast and listening to me.
Thank you so much for listening to this the Unreal Press podcast revival episode. Please buy Carbon Pages at your nearest bookstore, shelf, on Amazon, BarnesandNoble.com, wherever you get your books. See you.
Bye, everyone.